Al, for the first time in 15 years, Topps Chrome Basketball will be released here very soon in December 2025. And
could you imagine how you would have felt if you'd woke up Christmas morning and you had a box this big?
And you might be thinking, you know what? We need to go out and get a box because it's going to be affordable, right? Wrong.
Until we meet again.
Topps has announced that they are going the Dutch auction route for Topps Chrome basketball cards. Not exactly going to be popular with collectors. And we're going to talk about a little bit of a ripple effect and maybe what we think is going to happen here as Topps Chrome basketball is released. The much anticipated set, we've all been waiting for it. It's been so long. And man, this is going to be wild to watch. Before I dive in, make sure to get $25 off your first submission over at PSA with the SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen. Just a one card minimum to try out PSA with the code. Also, if you have a collection to sell, justcollect.com. Got a fancy landing page there in my video description, as well as the pinned comments that can help you out get an assessment on what your collection might be worth. All right, so I saw a couple of posts that Neo had did, and I saw the first one that was basically like, this is going to be a Dutch auction. Neo kind of responding like, not a fan of this. Then I was thinking back, what was Zero Cool doing? Because they were doing kind of a reverse Dutch auction style as well. But I actually thought that it was pretty fair if we're going like the Dutch auction route. And just like that, like magic, Neo also posted a video showing how Zero Cool was doing it before, like he's some sort of a mind reader or mind flayer, if you will.
All this time, we've been building it.
So here, let's play that clip just to kind of see what the differences are here between Zero Cool, which again was owned by Topps or partnered with Topps, and now what we've got here with this new Topps Chrome basketball release. Hit it.
We use something called a blind Dutch auction, and we believe it's the fairest way to buy trading cards online. It's actually dead simple. All you do is tell us how much you're willing to pay, and we take care of the rest. If there's a box of cards you've got your eye on, simply head to the product page and place a bid for the most you're willing to pay. All the bids are hidden. No FOMO here. Once the auction ends, we match the number of boxes available to each of the highest bids. So, if there's 10 boxes available, then the top 10 highest bids win and no one else is charged. The lowest of the winning bids becomes the clearing price, and everyone pays the clearing price, no matter what you bid. So, if you bid $1,000, but the clearing price is only $300, then you only pay $300 for your cards. Pretty cool, right? With this type of release, a true blind Dutch auction, the market sets the price, not us. And almost everyone pays less than their initial bid. Transparency, equal access, and a fair process.
Okay, so as you can see there, they're taking the top 10 bids essentially, assuming there's 10 boxes of supply, and they're taking the lowest one, and that is the clearing price. So it's not as if they're taking the absolute maximum bid that came. Oh, put in the most that you're going to pay. If it's $1,000, everyone pays $1,000. Essentially, they're going to take the lowest of the high bids. Kind of confusing, but then everyone is paying, in this instance, the example that they gave, $300, even if you bid $1,000 for that box. So if you're going to do it this way, where it's some sort of a Dutch auction, at least it's semi-fair that way. This, no. But no, this is straight up out of Panini's playbook. Isn't that kind of ironic? The Dutch auction, where they're going to start this thing off really high and they're going to run the price down until it sells out. Well, what have we seen typically happen in this instance? Usually what happens is breakers buy out this product. And speaking of breakers, I reached out to one that I respect, one that I believe does good business, and it's James over at Run Good Life. And he gave me kind of a statement. He's like, dude, you can share this right on the screen if you'd like from me. You can share this quote. I'm sure James will probably put a video on this on his channel as well. Make sure you check out the Run Good Life YouTube channel. He said the 10% of breakers who are 100% responsible for the anti-breaker sentiment and hostility throughout the hobby will be the ones buying 50% or more of this Chrome FDI nonsense at probably 125% more than it's actually worth. As someone with common sense, it's very obvious to see the first ever Topps reverse Dutch auction will be complete S show and will sell out way high at some insane, not remotely justifiable number. We aren't participating in this one at all, which I think is really, again, James has been around the block. I think he worked at ComC for 7, 8, 9 years. He's been in the hobby for a long time, runs a very successful breaking operation that he does on his own YouTube, has his own audience. He's not using, from what I understand, I don't think he's using a Whatnot or Fanatics Live. He's just so damn popular, the guy just runs it right on YouTube. And so when this stuff happens, I always reach out to him. I'm like, am I crazy or does this seem kind of weird? And he agrees that this thing is going to sell out at a high price because, again, what's going to happen is breakers who can fractionalize it, they're going to buy this up. And breakers have cash, man. These big breakers, they've got cash and they will sell this thing out. So it'll be interesting to see where is the sellout point for Topps Chrome basketball. But the thing that kind of gets at me, and we've talked about this, is Michael Rubin straight out said that 40% of allocation goes to breakers right out of the gate. 40% goes to breakers, 40% goes to card stores, and the other 20% goes to retailers like Walmart, Target, big box retailers. So you already have 40% of the product that's going to go to breakers directly. And then you're going to go this kind of like, direct-to-consumer thing, which is it's not really direct-to-consumer. And look, Topps runs a business, a for-profit business, so I can't blame them for this. But man, they are trying to capture every last dime of that secondary market price. They do not want to lose out on secondary market pricing. They are pricing this up. The way that they're operating is they don't want to set this thing at $300 a box. It sells out, and then the next day it's selling for $600, $700 or more. I'm just using kind of round numbers to explain the point here. And losing all of that money on the secondary market where they could have just priced it at retail essentially for a higher price. This is a method of making sure that you capture every last dime of that secondary market, that scalper price, that other people would have made selling this on the secondary market. You can't blame them. It is their product. But for people that just want to open this stuff, forget about it. You're competing with larger enterprises, with bigger companies, breaking companies, and the like, to buy this stuff. And so demand is going to dictate, and the demand from those breaking groups, they are going to eat this stuff alive, and they're probably going to sell out of those breaks. People are excited about Topps Chrome basketball. So I guess my question here is this something that Topps is just trying out just to see how it goes? Or is this going to be the norm moving forward for a lot of popular products like this? I doubt they're going to do every single product this way where it's that Dutch auction running down. I have to assume they're not going to do that. I think they won't. But stuff that's popular, like Topps Chrome and probably Diamond Icons and some of the more higher end products, they're probably going to run it like this. I thought it was just interesting to see because, again, this was something that Panini took flack for, and Topps had been the one that, going back over the last couple of years, they had been the one that's kind of saying like, hey, look, looking at other manufacturers, we're pricing our stuff up, pretty well in comparison. And now this is being set up very similarly to where Panini just did this with that WNBA product where everybody freaked out about it, where it was that WNBA, what was it, the royalty set or something with all the Caitlin Clark and the Angel Reese stuff in it, where they started at like $20,000 a box or 30 or whatever it was, and it got all the way down, I think $3 to $5 grand or whatever it was at kind of that bottom price. But people were buying it all the way down, so they're capturing that all the way down. It's just really interesting to see how this is going to go. But I think what it does show us is affordability in new product, probably not going to be something that gets better here as Topps takes over all of the licenses. And again, I'm sure they're going to have lower end products. They're going to have things that are affordable, that are $100 a hobby box. This is going to be one that I think people are going to be upset about. I don't understand why they don't have a better direct-to-consumer system in place. The over loyalty, in my opinion, to the breaking community, no offense to the breakers out there, get some allocation by all means, but you're going to get 40% of this allocation, and then you're going to buy this stuff up. You're going to have a lot of the allocation. And so what that means is for most collectors that want to get into Topps Chrome, it's you're buying into a break to get it, or you're just waiting to buy singles. I think a lot of people will just end up buying the singles as they come out. To me, this doesn't feel like a very efficient system. I've mentioned before, why not have kind of an email list, a lotto email type list where you've got a certain amount of Topps collectors, Topps customers that you have over time where, look, Fanatics and Topps, they keep these mailing lists. If you're a customer of Topps, if you bought their products or Fanatics products, maybe go out there and give an opportunity. Hey, you got 72 hours. Here's an email went out to a random 1,000 people or 5,000 people or 10,000 people or whatever it is. You limit it to one physical mailing address or something so people aren't trying to game that system, but some sort of an effort to try to give back to the average Joe collector that's been buying Topps products for who knows, decades. Some of us were buying Topps products, going back to the 80s and the 90s.
We got a 1990 Topps vending box looking for Frank Thomas rookies. Right there. We got a 1985. How long has it been since we've had this? A 1985 Topps traded. But that's not all. We've got a 1987 Topps vending box. And then, just because we can, we've got A 1987 rack box with over 1,300 cards.
It would be really cool to see kind of some outside of the box thinking around that. How can we get some of this product into collectors' hands that don't have $1,000 for a box, or $1,500 for a box, or $2,000 for a box? And I know the answer to this will just simply be, oh, you know what? The demand is just that high. The demand is high. And I just don't agree with that. I think that the way that the distribution is set up, it's giving this false demand outlook. It's giving the public like, oh man, this sold out. It's kind of like this EQL stuff. You know, you sign up for the EQL and in 15 seconds, everything's sold out. Well, did everything sell out because you sold like 100 boxes? Well, yeah, if you put, if you got 100 boxes, if there's like barely any supply, then you can say, oh my God, this stuff sold out, and it hypes it all up like, man, did you see that? It sold out in 10 seconds. You know, I'm sure if you put 10,000 boxes up there or 20,000 or whatever, if you up that supply on the EQL, the direct to consumer, it probably wouldn't sell out in 15 seconds. It would give more people an opportunity to get in and get it. I understand the supply demand thing, that's tough for manufacturers to figure out, but there's just got to be a better way, and we don't always have to lean in so hard on the breaking community. There's certainly a place for it. It's popular for a reason, but there's also a lot of people that are leaving the hobby or just are like, you know what? I can't open packs. I can't open packs for Topps Chrome, and so, forget about it. I'm not really that interested. I don't know. I just think that there's some downstream effects that aren't being thought about right now because there's such a focus on just the bottom line. And I think it could have a long-term impact. I mean, this is a bull market in cards. This is the most popular that trading cards have ever been. Don't take that for granted. It could go back to 2014 or 2015 or 2010 or whatever, where nobody really gave a damn. There wasn't anywhere near as many participants in the space going back in time. It's not to say that that can't happen if the manufacturers, if the companies in space just aren't careful about how this stuff is done. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you going to try to go after some of this new Topps Chrome product? And who knows, maybe there's people that'll say like, you know what, fair is fair, and let them do it how they're going to do it. They like the system. I don't know. But we'll have to find out how it goes. It will be happening here in December, so keep an eye out. And I think the other piece that we just talked about is that singles market. The cards are going to get open. There is going to be a ton of this product that's getting opened upon release. And so if you've got a favorite player, unless you're trying to chase like the big lottery ticket 101 stuff, the big time cards that are in the set, if you're just looking for specific players out of there, then you can just literally wait. It's all going to come on eBay, man. It's going to come like a tsunami onto eBay 30 days after release. Within that first 30 days, you're going to see a lot of it. It gets opened and it immediately goes out to grading and it goes out on eBay to get sold. So let me know your thoughts, my friend.
Until we meet again.
Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.